welcome back to the RTG Sit Down. I am Ryan Thompson, and with me,
Michael Walker, as always.
Ethan Hamilton.
And today we're going to cover the goalkeeper in the modern game. And we're going to focus on distribution and everything surrounding it. First, before we get into it, we want to thank you all for the support that you have given us throughout this process of creating this podcast and building this value so we could educate and continue to inspire. So, pass it on over to Ethan here.
Yeah, let's get started then, because last week we had a good friend, Nick McKellar, on, and we talked about strength and conditioning for goalkeepers, but not just goalkeepers, for field players in general. And with the summertime coming up, like, how do you handle yourself? Like, how do you maintain the current shape of your body and conditioning? But I think this week we should get back to our roots, right? We haven't really, other than the first episode, we haven't really gotten too focused on goalkeepers. So I think I should let today's episode be about you two nerding out about goalies. And I think the best way we can start talking about the modern goalkeeper is talking about like the biggest change from like the 1930s, 1940s when you played.
Bro, we gotta cut this guy.
I gotta do one bit every single time, but the biggest thing would have to be distribution. So I want you guys to talk about the modern goalkeeper and the difference in distribution from like the 90s and the early 2000s to what it is now.
Yeah, I think one of the main thing, Ethan, is the game has evolved. Evolved where you check the percentage. Goalkeepers spend most of the time on the ball at their feet. So the demand for a goalkeeper now is to be able to be comfortable, to be that extra field player. So if a goalkeeper is going to spend a lot of time with the ball, you're going to be able to be executing those stuff at high efficiency and high effective rate.
But what, like, why does the goalkeeper spend more time on the ball? Like, why is that? Do you think it's case? Do you think it's case to case, man? Because like, I mean, I would argue that wasn't a thing until Pep came into the picture, right? It was like, hey, tiki-taka, pass.
Yeah.
Total
and
football.
even then, like, very few coaches can replicate what Pep does. You know, so I think that is like the standard that we see. That's what we want to achieve. But there are very maybe few teams that actually do that, right?
Yeah. So it's it goes to style of play, correct?
Yeah.
Team style of play.
For sure. So do you think that is our perception? Because that is what, it's like think about like the media, right? Like you're fed all these like
narratives.
I hate to use the example of like, models, narrative, right? Like this is the image. When it's like, well, that's a very small percentage of what the population is, right? Like, so do you think like we're being fed like this is how you should play and this is it, this is everything you need to play
so
out the back?
Let me ask you this, Mikey. Who is winning right now? Which coach is winning right now? What are we seeing on our TV on a day-to-day basis? What are we seeing?
I mean, Bayern's been dominant for the last 10 years in the Bundesliga, so...
And when they were dominant, Pep Guardiola was the coach.
Even before that, though, they were dominant before Pep came into the picture.
But before that, then you had Barcelona, who was a coach there, Pep Guardiola, right?
Victor Valdez was the goalkeeper. Like, stuff like that, like them distributing it. Like, I wouldn't say, like... I think that... I get what you're trying to say. Like, is it, like... are the Edersons or the Allisons, are they like the exception to the rule, or are they the new standard when it comes to goalkeeping? You know what I'm saying? And I would have to say that they are the new standard, because if you look at it like in soccer and just in any sports league, every one of the leagues is a copycat league. You copy what works. And right now, Manchester City, Liverpool, Real Madrid, and Bayern are the four best teams in the world, and they've probably been the four best teams in the world for a very long time. The past like 5 years, right?
Yes.
And look at their goalkeepers: Ederson, Alisson, Courtois, Neuer. Like, and those are the four best goalkeepers in the world. And what can they all do? Distribute at a high level.
Yes, but when you really think about it, so we'll go back to what Mike has mentioned. It's a style of play. But my point, what I'm making now is, this is what they're promoting. They're promoting this is the way. This is a modern way. Pep went to Manchester City and he tried it with Joe Hart and it didn't work. So what did he do? He got rid of Joe Hart. He got Claudio Bravo. He didn't work with Claudio Bravo because he wasn't making the save. Now he started overplay. So now he has to get a goalkeeper that can complement his style of play. And what do we know about Man City? They have a whole lot of money. So they have a whole lot of money. They can buy talent. That's why they buy Ederson. And now Ederson is the one that fits that profile for his team and the way he wants to play. And now, to Mikey's point is, everybody wants to be like, is that the exception? Is that the rule? But when you look at it, not everybody can afford to do that consistently. So what do you do when you can't afford to do that?
Well, you gotta fit the players that you have, right? Like we talk about coaching all the time. Like you have an idea of what you want to be, but what do you do when you don't have what you want to be, right? Like you gotta complement those players. So, yeah, if you don't have a goalkeeper that can play out the back, then why try it or why do it, right? There's more than one way to play it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And in terms of distribution, though, I see this trend going around. Everybody just think about just distributing with their feet.
Side volleys.
Or when the goalkeeper of the ball collected from across, they're thinking about just side volley. They're thinking about things that looks good, but not effective. I might not be a side volley guy, or maybe it's not the time to side volley when someone is 10, 15 yards away from me. Maybe a simple distribution, bowl out or javelin, whatever you want to do, but get the ball to where it needs to be effective and efficient. And maybe it's not a side volley, but you find more young goalkeepers doing that because this is what you're seeing on TV. Don't you see that as a trend going on in this modern game?
Yeah, we talk about high percentage passes, and sometimes that's those side volleys.
They aren't
they
there.
Ain't it.
Like they're like you can do it like maybe like once or twice a game, but that shouldn't be like your go-to move every single time. I think we're starting to realize.
Would you side volley to someone 10 to 20 yards away?
Hell no. There's no need. I got a ball in my hand, I can effectively toss it. But it goes back to what I'm saying. They're seeing these side volleys and it looks good, and everybody, instead of using their mind to analyze the situation and realize it's not the time, they just want to just keep doing that. So again, copycat society,
Yeah, because if you look at it, like let's look at like our most recent history, right? Like Courtois is a perfect example. He can't side volley it, or he can't ping it across the field like how an Ederson and an Alisson was, but like his ball distribution and his shot, like mainly his shot stopping in that Champions League run was some of the best we've ever seen.
I was just about to ask you, why did they win the Champions League?
Exactly.
did he side volley once to win the game? Hell no.
No. But
did he distribute 35 or 60 yards plus to win the game? No. Man.
Look at how the goal was scored, man. He came across off a corner. He claimed the cross, slid it out to Modric, and the rest is history. Like
he did that too in the World Cup. Yeah. Again, who was it against? I can't remember who it was, but he picked a corner, plays it. Lukaku slips a ball.
It was he slips it to De Bruyne, and then De Bruyne goes the full length of the field to.
And then Lukaku makes that run. De Bruyne slips him. Lukaku dummy. Far post, boom, goal. Right, something like that.
Yeah.
But it started with.
Why aren't they promoting that?
I think honestly because it's so I wouldn't say minimal. I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
I think because it starts so far away from the goal, that simple decision and that easy execution, that everything else kind of overshadows that moment.
Because
but without the start of that play, De Bruyne can do what he does best. Lukaku can do what he does best, and then I forgot who scored the goal. But
so think about it this way.
Probably Carrasco or somebody like that.
I'm not well versed in Belgium's national team.
We had this conversation today with our goalkeepers, right? And we talk about the game is simple. A lot of times we overcomplicate the game. I'm a goalkeeper. My job is to keep the ball out of the back of the net first and foremost. My second job is to start the attack, right? Whether it be my defender, my midfielder, or my wingers or my strikers. So if I get the ball, I gotta find the easiest, most effective outlet, and maybe that's what it is. And that's
not as glamorous. That's it.
I just need to be effective. That's it. I don't need to be able to hit the ball 30, 40, 50, 60 yards on a dime with the side volley, because it becomes a 50-50 ball. When I could just pass the ball to my right or to my left, where they could take the ball and do their job. My job is to make their job easier.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the simplest thing is it's not glamorous.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Let's put our media hats on, right? If you're a producer at ESPN or Fox Sports, right, and you're looking through the highlights of the game, right, and there's 2 goals, right? The first goal is like what we were saying earlier. The goal is the Belgium goal. The goalkeeper claims the cross. He passes out, simple outlet pass, and then the player takes the full length of the field and scores. Right? Would you rather, like as a viewer, would you rather see that, or would you rather that same goal, but in an Ederson situation where off a goal kick, he's able to ping it past the halfway line, the guy takes 1 or 2 touches and then scores?
I mean, that's still pretty. The way you just described it, I'm picturing it in my head. That's still pretty cool. That's still a good ball, and it's hard to pick.
Yes.
But I think, shit, you're giving me 2 really good pictures.
But you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I think I have an answer for him here, right? My job as a goalkeeper is to make sure everybody in front of me is doing their job. My job is to make your job easier. So I need to guide you right? So out of position, I'm putting you in position, correct? So the ball doesn't come to me. Because the striker has a midfielder to defend them, the midfielder has the centre backs to defend them, and the centre backs have the goalkeeper to defend them. The goalkeeper doesn't have anybody. So the ball gonna go through that process. The same thing now, I have the ball in my hands, right? My job is to what? First and foremost, get the ball to my key possession, right? And I need to find the best way to keep possession. I want you to do your job. So if you're my centre back and you're open, I'm gonna give you a nice ball so you could look good to then pass it to your midfielder. What does the midfielder get paid to do? To create opportunities, right? So if the goalkeeper or the defender passes that ball to the midfielder, you're giving them an opportunity to do the magic that they've practiced years and months for. You know, my job is to keep the ball at the back of the net. I'm not the creator. The creator is the midfielder or the striker. You're the odd times, which happen maybe once or twice per season, where the goalkeeper gets the ball and distribute the ball so far ahead because the team is unbalanced and trying to exploit. Once in a while. But you see the passing and building up or the diagonal passes from the outfielders, that's more effective. So my job is to give it to them so they can do their job effectively. Because the percentage of me getting this ball and trying to distribute that 40, 50-yard ball and key position is that it becomes a 50-50.
So now that Ryan words it that way, if I have my media cap on, what's more glamorous is like, oh shit, he was able, excuse my language, he was able to get this ball, right? Like if I'm looking at it from a media's perspective, oh, he was able to get the ball from point A to point B with one pass, I'm going to pick that one. But if I put my coach's hat on and I see the two different moments and I realize, shit, my keeper just did his job, picked the cross, made the right pass, let the guys in front of him do their job, then I'm putting that team goal over the athletic moment, right? Like
exactly.
That's but I think that's two different perspectives, right? Like you go into, I mean, I don't know what
because
the
first one you can't really teach that. The first one you can't teach.
You can and you can't, I think, but that's what I'm saying. You can as a coach, you see it from a different perspective, and you can't as someone that is just trying to get that. It's called, like a hook point, right? Like immediately grasp the viewer's attention. Then right, like that athletic kick across the field is more engaging because it's just bang bang versus the point, pass to the second pass,
to the third pass,
create
to the fourth pass,
options, whatever, however you want to describe it. So it depends what cap you're putting on, honestly.
There's moments in the game where the opportunity is going to present itself to exploit the opponent. And obviously,
for sure. Allison, he did it with Salah.
Yeah,
it was off a corner. Everyone, their whole team's defending.
You want your goalkeeper to have that tool in their bag to be able to execute that technique.
But is that the only tool that they should have?
No.
You're
not giving them that.
Absolutely not. So what was the one thing we kind of said? Like Ederson's short game distribution,
is just as good as his long game.
Right, but his hands, right? Distribution with his hands. Is it as effective as his long game? As his feet? From your perspective,
no, I think his feet is amazing. I think his hands, he's good. He has to be good to be there. It's not the greatest. His shot stopping ability is okay. And which leads to our next point.
He doesn't have to be amazing shot stopper
with
a
a
team
like
Man City.
He has a team Man City. They're probably going to outscore you no matter what. So he's able to make 2 or 3 mistakes. We're giving up rebounds, being out of position when the shooter is about to shoot because he's playing so high off his line, trying to play a support role when his team is in position. But when the turnover is in transition, he's never really in good position to make a save. He makes a save, or most of the time you find that he's giving up a mistake and giving up goals, but his team is going to score 2-3 goals, so he can get away with that. Other teams can't afford that. Jordan can't do that.
What about Manchester United?
United can't do that. And they're lucky to score 1 goal.
They can't do that. I mean, you got Ronaldo,
but you look at De Gea, he is I think he's such an interesting, just example of this, is because as the years have gone by and he hasn't been blessed with the team that I think a lot of us would think that the team that a lot of Manchester United teams think he deserves. He's probably been their best player for the past 5-6 years.
He doesn't have to distribute.
Yeah, but if you look at the last year, look at this past year, it was not his best year, and you saw the decline comes with his athletic ability and his shot stopping. He doesn't have the distribution ability that the Edersons and the Alisson does. He doesn't have the ability to claim crosses how the Emi Martinez's or the Courtois can. He doesn't have that ability to their level. And you seeing the vice versa between him and Ederson. So what do you think like a person like him could do to improve his game so that maybe the game doesn't pass him by?
First, for a guy that says he doesn't know anything or a lot about goalkeeping, he just said a ton of good stuff. So that's my one point I want to say to that. Ryan, take over.
No, I think again, if you realize what I said in the beginning, we have two jobs as a goalkeeper. First one, keep the ball out of the back of the net. The second one is to be the first attacker, right? So with that being said, David De Gea is doing an amazing job, when he can, to keep the ball out of the back of the net. The unfortunate thing is you have people in front of him who right now is not at their best. They're trying their best, but they're not at their best. And the truth of the matter is, as a goalkeeper, you only can do so much. So some days you'll seem amazing, and then some days he just seem average because he has defenders who just constantly letting people through the gates, so he's gonna be exposed, and that's a problem. It has not much to do with, he's good with distribution, or it's just the team is just not playing well, and he can only do so much as a goalkeeper,
I think I can agree with you on that because I think he does get, especially this year, he's gotten a lot of flack for his ability, and I do think his play has declined, but I think a lot of it has to do with just the team as a whole because I don't think he's the specific example of the person that his play declined. Because if you look at every one of those players on that United team, you can make the case that all of them, their play has declined this year.
I was about to ask you, is it because his play has declined or just because the overall quality of the club has just not been to what they should be?
Yeah, I just think it's,
right?
that's maybe...
Can both be true?
And hear me out.
I get what you're saying. But hold on, this completely diverts us from our us from our topic of distribution. But notice how much emphasis we're putting on the goalkeeper himself rather than the club, right? Like you're saying, can both be true? Well, yeah, but the other guys, why are we looking so much at the quality of the goalkeeper, right?
Yeah.
Like we're putting a lot. Granted, everyone has their pressure, but notice just within this conversation alone how much pressure we're putting on the goalkeeper alone.
Yeah.
Is it because a lot of it he set the standard himself for being so great for so many years that whenever he's not at that A++ level and maybe he's at like a B-, we notice the big drop off.
Let me again, it is a team sport.
That's what I'm saying. When he's been at his best, he's been on some top teams.
Yeah.
When he does his worst, like look at the team as a whole, right? Think about that. Even when De Gea's at his best, it's not about De Gea.
Yeah.
It's not about him.
Yeah.
When De Gea's at his worst, it's not at his worst. Like it's not him. When he's at his best, he's got good guys around him. When he's at his worst, he's got the talent.
Five element of development: the physical aspect, right? You have the tactical aspect, right? You then have a technical aspect, right? And then you have a psychological aspect, and then a social connection.
Physical.
For you,
Physical.
Yeah, that's physical already.
You almost caught him messing up.
No.
But the social.
So let's read again. We got the technical, we got the tactical, we got the physical, we got the psychological, and we got the social connection. We, in every moment of anything, including distribution, all of that is at play. Or am I connected to my people around me? Right? Do I have the technical ability to distribute the ball? Do I have a tactical awareness to see things and exploit it and be in position? Am I physically able to do it? Capable? Right? So, and mentally, do I have the confidence to do it and all this fun stuff, right? So it's not just wanting all of this kind of click, and that's what we saw with Thibaut Courtois in the final. All 5 elements of development were at play. And he has people around him who are helping him to do his job as best as possible, right? So let's go back to this. We want to steer the conversation back because we're talking about building out the back. We're talking about distribution, and what we find now in the modern game, we find more playing in the back versus playing out the back.
Right, for people that are still learning, what's the difference between the two?
So you find everybody, team is being pressed up on the goalkeeper or the centre backs, and we're still trying to play with the ball inside your 18-yard box.
What's the whole point of what's the whole point of the soccer the game?
The whole point of the game is for us to go score goals. So if the team is pressed up on us, the goalkeeper got to be aware, tactically aware that where is the space? I need to find a space. Where's our free player? And you got to be able to have that tool, which may be just a simple chip, or maybe simple be a diagonal ball, whatever, to find your opponent, right? So that's what I mean. We got to play out the back. Where is the space? I need to constantly look for that space. And most of the time in this modern game, there's no space inside here because a mistake happens right there. It goes right back to the goalkeeper. Goal score, everybody looks at the goalkeeper and tell the goalkeeper, you weren't good. You know, the goalkeeper gets the blame, right? And they didn't saw it in the moment where the defender put the goalkeeper in a bad position. And they didn't see the training before where the coach is telling the goalkeeper, hey, no matter what, you need to be able to play with the back. No, you need to be able to find space. Our objective is to get the ball from my goal and put it in the back of the net. And I have people around me to do that. So, goalkeeper, I'm giving you some tools right here. Team pressed up on you, you're not a midfielder, you're not a striker. You know, even though I was guilty at that times in my career, you know, look for the space. Exploit your opponent, give the midfielder, give the forwards, give the defense, let them do their job, guide them. Be a leader. We talk about a social connection. Once you pass, it could be a simple side foot or a driven pass, or if you have the ball in your hands, just always look for space.
I think that's a good segue. Like that's in order to be able to do all these different things that we're talking about, you gotta have different tools in your bag, right? Like you gotta be able to play with your feet. Not just short, but you got to play that long ball.
Yeah.
When you have the ball in your hand, right? Is that the best moment to use your feet? No, you have control of it with your hands. So use your hands to distribute long. Break some lines with your hands. Don't just go for the side volley. Like you got to have these different tools in your bag to execute in different moments because the side volley ain't going to be applicable every single time. The short pass is not going to be applicable every single time. That long ball is not going to be applicable every single time. So you got to be clean with your feet. You got to be clean with your hands. And then you got to be clean with your decisions. I think that's the overall topic of the day. Like we put too much emphasis on this, like, how do you say it? The social media clips of side volleys, right? Like we put too much emphasis on that. Yeah, the glitz and glamour. We put too much emphasis on that, and we forget that there's multiple ways to break a line, right? To play through thirds, to play through to the attacking half, rather than playing just in the back or trying to, go with the side volley. There's different ways to play the game. You got to be well-rounded in every single thing that you do.
100%. Mike made an amazing point just now. And to sum up what Mike just said, do your job first and foremost. Keep the ball at the back of the net. Start the attack. And that could be many ways. You just got to understand. You just got to understand.
Who's that? The Middle Eastern goalkeeper that he does the hands.
Oh yeah, punched it.
Where's the goalkeeper? But anyways, that's it. If it worked for you, go for it. But
understand your strengths.
I don't encourage it. But
understand your strengths and weaknesses. And I think right now we were talking so much about Addison and Edison. Alisson, Edison,
De Gea.
Who are some of the goalkeepers out there that comes to your mind when you think distribution right off the bat?
Clearly Ederson, but he's just I think he's an outlier. He's an anomaly.
He's an alien.
He's there on the spectrum of what distribution is. Like he's a very good goalkeeper, and like that's the first guy that comes up.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
is it because of social media? Is it because of the coverage that he gets?
So again, social media. Every day we sit in our TV, you watch English Premier League. We were watching the World Cup, and Brazil is always there, and that's who's on the platform on TV. But I'm going to give you guys some homework. Go research Isaac Koene, Kaiser Chief goalkeeper. He's South African. He's arguably one of the best goalkeeper and most consistent goalkeeper throughout the past decade. Fact. He can hit a ball 70 to 80 yards from the floor. He could throw it, he could dribble, he does it all. The clips don't lie. Google it when you get a chance.
We'll put it on the screen for you.
We're going to insert now his highlights. So
Koene, amazing. So again, work on your stuff, work on your craft. Don't be a robot. Read the game, talk about the 5 elements of the development. Understand your strengths and weaknesses.
We talked about it. I kind of mentioned this in one of the podcasts. Don't be something you're not. Be you. Try to be the best version of yourself. Incorporate different techniques in your distribution. Incorporate different styles of play. So be you. Don't be someone else. Don't be the Ederson. If you want to be a little bit, sure, why not? Insert some side volleys in your game, but don't try to be Ederson. Be yourself.
100%.
Because if you got a strong arm, you got a strong throw, use it.
Like that could be more effective.
100%.
Than even though you still do need the short game, you do need the long ball. But that might be more effective, like in the moment, like when the game's on the line.
I think again, that's the overall message, right? Like, don't get caught up in these outlier styles of play of Man City, right? Like they are a good standard of soccer, of what we want to be, of football for not
the purist.
The purist, yeah, exactly. But but they're not the only one. There's teams that have different levels of success. Again, Bayern, they've been the absolute most dominant figure in Germany, right? Most dominant team. But is Neuer known for his side volleys? Is Neuer?
No, he's known for his game.
His
No, I'm not saying his feet aren't bad. I'm saying
his feet are.
No, he throws more.
But that's my point. But that's my point.
Yes.
That's my point.
Yes.
They are an absolute dominant figure in Germany. But I've never seen. I don't know. I can't recall many times I know your side volleyed or things like that. Right? His feet are amazing. Distribution's amazing. But he does his job first and foremost. There's like the Ederson. There's different styles of play. So there's moments to play that way.
There's also different styles of goalkeeper that I think we're all trying to say here is that like you said, the Neuer is he is one of the best goalkeepers who have ever walked the earth, plain and simple. That's who he is.
Yeah.
But if you look at his game, like you said, he doesn't have side volleys, but what he does has his elite positioning. Yeah. He's the best sweeper keeper that we've ever seen.
Yeah,
I'll one up you. Look up Jorge Campos.
Every episode.
Hey, Campos, wherever you are, you're a legend.
We love you.
I'm Jamaican, and man, I look
Listen, Jorge Campos wouldn't side volley. He would pick up a cross and dribble it on himself.
Yep.
Man would dribble across the field, get an assist every game. So
that's a good example. There's you don't have to have the side volley. You don't have to have the extraordinary in your game all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You could be great in what you do and still be successful.
Yeah. Be who you are. Enjoy you. Enjoy you, man. And whoever the team is, whoever the scout is, they will find you and they will put you in the system that you need to be. Don't try to be a cookie cutter, man, or try to be somebody that's not. Mike said it like a million and one time, man. Understand your strengths and weaknesses and just say, enjoy that, man. You're talking on this podcast and we're having fun, we're laughing, same thing. You're out there as a goalkeeper, have fun with it. Have fun with it and know that it's not just about you, it's about the team. It's always about the team. And your job is to do the simple things well and make everybody else around you look well. Right? And take care of your psyche and always.
Take care of your chicken, man.
Take care of your chicken. Take care of the mind, body, and the spirit.
I think that's a good way to end it on, man. I think we covered a lot of things today, the modern goalkeeper, when it comes to distribution. So I appreciate the viewers. Thank you, the listeners, for listening and watching us today. And if you guys want to see us more and hear us talk about all things goalkeeping, but just soccer in general, let us know topics in the comments below, right? We always appreciate it. Follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, and we'll post highlights of this episode. Also, we'll post highlights of the camps that are coming up. Ryan, you want to talk about it?
100%. Yeah, next week we start our camp here in Austin. Then we move on in July for the Tampa leg, and then back to Austin. But again, it's about having fun, man. Don't forget the merch. Don't forget the merch.
If you want to get some of these cool shirts that we're wearing right now,
and we have way more coming. It's on our website right now. We have Pride Month and military support. We appreciate you all. We appreciate everybody. It's a place where we want everybody to come and express themselves.
So for those interested as well for the camps, July 11th to the 14th we'll be in Tampa, South Tampa. So if you're around, and then July 18th to the 21st, we're back in Austin, Texas. So feel free to join us and keep tabs on the camps that we got going on. So keep eyes on. I promise you a lot of good stuff will be happening. A lot of good stuff coming out.
We'll be going on TikTok Live and stuff like that.
A lot of good stuff coming from RTG in the next couple of days. So keep an eye on it.
Don't forget our philosophy. Respect, inspire, develop, enjoy. Respect, inspire, develop, enjoy. Work is easy. All we need is opportunity. So this summer, put the work, and I promise you opportunity will come. One love.
Yeah, it's been Ethan Hamilton,
Michael Alcaraz,
Ryan Thompson.
and thank you guys for listening to the RTG Sit Down.